Because she could actually have been charged with the murders of 2 more children.
There could be, at that stage, could be children buried out there was quite weird.
She's got the devil in it. She's the devil itself.
You might have heard the thrilling stories of infamous male serial killers, but this chilling trail of Myra Hindley will blow your mind. This shocking story reveals the darkest aspects of human manipulation, child abuse, and an unimaginable act of sexual violence. Myra Hindley, the most evil woman in Britain, met her criminal end at the hands of her brother-in-law. However, what made this case even more disturbing was the tragic love story which became a pawn in this deadly game. Join us as we delve into this twisted story to uncover the chilling truths beneath the surface. Myra Hindley's life had never been easy. Her parents, Bob and Nellie Hindley, used to beat her regularly. When she was 4 years old, she was sent to her grandmother, who eventually took custody of her. But who knows that terrifying things are going to happen in the life of Myra as she grows older. In June 1975, at the age of 15, one of her closest friends, Michael Higgins, invited her to swim at a local disused reservoir, but she rejected the invitation. Little did she know that her rejection could lead to the death of Higgins as he drowned in the reservoir. This incident deeply upset Myra, and she blamed herself for Higgins' death.
You have to very carefully examine not only the period when the crimes were being committed, but look very carefully at the childhood in order to separate out.
Then, in January 1961, a glimmer of love arrived. Myra, now 18, started working as a typist at Millwards. There, she became deeply in love with Ian Brady, who soon converted into her criminal partner. The attractive personality of Ian Brady and his strange beliefs about religion became a source of interest for Myra Hindley, who cherished time with her newfound lover. It was Brady who indulged Myra in criminal activities that ended up in the brutal killing and sexual assault of 5 innocent children. It was a fine evening of 12 July 1963 when Brady and Myra planned a perfect murder of her 16-year-old neighbor, Pauline Reed. Pauline was going to dance class when Hindley offered her a lift in the van. Pauline accepted the ride, as she was the schoolmate of Hindley's younger sister, Maureen. As planned, Brady instructed Hindley to borrow a van to catch the victim, and then he followed them on a motorcycle. This resulted in the first criminal activity of Brady and Hindley, accompanying the tragic death of teenager Pauline Reed. When Hindley successfully brought Pauline in the van and was on her way to dreadful Saddleworth Moor, she continuously asked Pauline to help search for an expensive lost glove. But who knows that death was waiting for Pauline in that moor? Once Hindley reached there, Brady arrived with his motorcycle and took Pauline into the moor while Hindley waited for them in the van. After 30 minutes, Brady returned alone and took Hindley to where he killed Pauline after sexually assaulting her. It is stated that he pushed the throat chain of Pauline, made an incision across her voice box, and inflicted 2 cuts on her throat. A few months later, another innocent soul met a gruesome fate when 12-year-old John Kilbride was found lifeless in a moor. He was raped, and the throat was cut with a 6-inch serrated blade by the murderer couple Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. The details of his demise were even more disturbing. John was at the market in Ashton-under-Lyne, where Brady and Hindley offered him a lift home, saying that his parents might be worried about him. It was a terrifying evening on 23 November 1963. Brady hired a Ford Angelia car to pick up John from the market. On reaching the moor, they did the same heinous act of sexual abuse with John as they did with their first victim, Pauline Reed. After a while, Brady returned alone with a spade in his hand instead of the young boy John.
I don't think he would have excluded her from the actual sadism and the sadistic pleasure of the killing that he sought. He would want her to share that.
The story took an alarming turn when the shameless crime partners kidnapped a novice 12-year-old Keith Bennett. Keith was going to his grandmother's house when Hindley asked him to help her load some boxes in the van. As planned, Brady was hiding in the back of the van, and Hindley asked Keith to help her search for a lost glove in the moor at Saddleworth. After reaching the moors, Brady snatched him like a farm animal, pushed him forcefully to fulfill his sexual desire. After almost 30 minutes, Brady returned alone and took Hindley into the killing spot. There, the Moore murderers tied the child with a string and buried him without guilt in their eyes. As of today, Keith's body has not been found. Police and the family members of the innocent soul are trying hard to find the missing parts, but fail in every attempt. His grandmother regularly visits the Moores and places a bouquet in remembrance of her little boy. These untold stories of criminal cases go beyond the surface as we witness the acts of Brady and Hindley. And if you want to uncover these intricate details, you have to subscribe to our channel because you won't find them in the mainstream media. The sickening crimes of the dreadful partners did not stop yet. It was another tragic day in Fairground in Ancoats, where they abducted their youngest victim, Leslie Ann Downey. Leslie's story is just one of the other victims, with a unique twist. She was not raped in the moors. Instead, Brady and Hindley cunningly approached her from the local supermarket by asking her to help carry shopping bags in their car. Then, they brought the innocent 10-year-old Leslie to their home in Hattersley, where heinous acts of cruelty took place. On reaching the house, they locked the front door and dragged the girl upstairs to their bedroom, which was prepared earlier. From here, the dreadful series of acts began, which shook the nation until today. The Moore murderers tied Leslie with a string, strangled her, and gagged her in the single bed. However, this was not enough. To satisfy the sexual lust, Brady raped her and then forced her into 9 intimate photographs, which were sadly shown on the internet after an investigation. Along with the photographs, police also found a 13-minute audio tape recording containing Brady and Hindley's voices strangling the young girl Leslie. After sexually assaulting her, they put the corpse in a white sheet and buried the naked body in a shallow grave in the moors. It was October 6, 1965 when the terrifying acts of Brady and Hindley came to an end. At Manchester Central Station, they were planning the murder of Edward Evans, but who knows that it would also be the end of their criminal life. Brady picked up Evans for a sexual encounter and invited him for wine at his house on Wardlebrook Avenue. On reaching the house, Brady asked Hindley to bring Smith. David Smith was the brother-in-law of Hindley, who had been involved in abductions and criminal activities before. After raping Edward Evans, Brady asked Smith to bury the body in the moors, but fate interceded as Smith, burdened with remorse, unmasked the horrifying truth. This triggered a cascade of revelations, cracking Brady's chilling facade. Justice caught up with Brady during the grim November of 1986, sealing his and his cohort Myra Hindley's destiny. Despite her relentless parole appeals during a 36-year sentence, Hindley's life was snuffed out by a ruthless chest infection on November 15, 2002, at the age of 60. So, in the realm of desire and sexual appetite, where love takes a vulnerable form, the story of Myra Hindley serves as a haunting reminder of how easily manipulation can prey upon subconscious minds and result in the loss of 5 innocents. Society still witnesses the desperate cries of Keith Bennett's grandmother, as Keith's body is still missing until now. While we can't bring back the dead ones, one thing's for sure. If you're hungry for more stories like these, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It's time to delve into the shadows together.